Years ago, while living in San Francisco, I worked on a video about lion dancing that introduced me to this beautiful art form. And now that I live in China, I hear there's a town nearby that's famous for lion dancing, and I want to check it out. So I made my way to the train station, where I caught one of these gaotie, the high-speed train, and made my way to Foshan, where I hear all these lion dancers are. Now, there's a lot to like about the gaotie, including the comfort and the speed, but I really like looking out the window and seeing the land rush by. Once I arrived, I switched over to the local subway to get a little closer to the city. The place I'm headed today is called Zumiao Temple, which is in the central part of Foshan. But after getting on, I realized that there's a section of the subway that's under construction, so I had to get off a little earlier than I hoped. That's when I decided, why not walk to the temple? It can't be that far. So I emerged from the subway and started setting up my camera. But then I started hearing things. Loud things. That were a little confusing to me. I didn't know what they were. But looking around, I realized I was near an airport. The kind of airport where I knew I shouldn't take any photos. So I put my camera back in my backpack and started walking away from where the sounds were coming from. About a half hour later, I stumbled on this fruit market.
Hello!
Gosh, so friendly. The fruit was everywhere. Some of it was pretty common, and others, not so much, like this jackfruit. And then there were some other sweet things mixed in. And the other thing about markets like this are the things that seem mundane can be really cool to look at, like these baskets. They're so colorful. Around this time, I needed to get some lunch. So I stopped at this little spot, took a selfie, and started to put my camera away. When I met somebody. This person didn't understand what I was doing with the camera, so he decided I needed to talk to the police, so we all could have a little chat together. Once they arrived, I got my wife on the phone, who helped explain what I was doing, and then I got to show him some of my photos, mostly of the fruit that I had just seen. It's not comfortable having the police called on you, but once we got things cleared up, I was impressed at how respectful they were. And this officer even recommended a place for me to get some lunch.
All good.
And it tasted great. After lunch, I continued my journey into central Foshan, but I realized I was much further away than I thought I was. Looking at the map, it was a little unclear which roads were for cars and which ones had pedestrian walkways, so I kept finding little shortcuts, including this one, which was on the side of a overpass with this place that crushes gravel. And where it led me was a little surprising. I'm not sure how, but I found myself under the highway. When I finally emerged, there was a man looking at me with a puzzled look on his face, and I can only imagine what was going through his mind, seeing a random foreigner come out from under the highway. So I went up and talked with him. After that, he kind of lost interest. And I get it. Us Americans are not that popular right now. By this point, I had been walking for hours, and I was glad to take a break. But even though my legs were tired, my arm was not. And the reason is my portable camera setup with these lightweight Air Series lenses from Viltrox. And I have to say, I love these little guys. Everything I shot today is on one of these three lenses, the 20, 40, and 50 millimeter, that are all super lightweight and portable. And for lenses this good, they're not even that expensive. Viltrox, my arm thanks you. After taking a break, I was ready to keep going and make my way to those lion dancers I keep hearing about. but I'm so distracted by all the photos I'm taking along the way. As the sun went down, I started to realize I probably wasn't going to see any lion dancers today, but I did start noticing some hints of them on the street. I finally arrived at the temple, but all I could see was the gate. I guess I'll have to come back tomorrow to see those lion dancers. As I made my way to find a hotel, I ran into this guy playing Kenny G's Going Home. Feeling exhausted and worn out, it seemed to fit the moment. That being said, I really dislike this song. The next morning I got up early so I could capture even more photos before the lion dance started in the afternoon. So I was wandering this neighborhood when I found a furry surprise. Do you see it? There it is. It was hidden so well I barely saw it. But then I started hearing someone that didn't want to be hidden at all. Seems like he decided that 6 a.m. was his time to shine. This street seems like a perfect spot to try this new trick I have, where I put my camera and these light lenses I have with me from Viltrox on a pole. Kind of cool, right? And when I did this, I noticed there was a bunch of steam coming out from one of the storefronts. So I went to check it out.
早上好，嗨。你做什么？鸡蛋。鸡蛋。啊。好吃吗？可以啊。可以啊。啊。
And this looked pretty good. So he went and made me an egg on his cool stove thing, and I'm told it's called Chung Fen. The man and the staff here at this restaurant were super nice, and I took a few pictures of the kitchen. Across from the breakfast place was this vendor with stacks of money. Now, I happen to know they're called hell notes, and they're used in funerals to give the deceased wealth in the afterlife. All the same, it feels odd to see money just hanging around like this. And through kind of a stroke of luck, I ran into one of these farmers markets, which are always photographic gold. Finally, after a day and a half of walking around, I arrived at Zumiao Temple to see those lion dancers Foshan is famous for. I gave myself a half hour before the performance to find a place to sit. Looks like it wasn't nearly enough time. This place is packed. Finally, I found a spot that had a decent view, and the show was about to start. Once the lion dancers came out, I was amazed. They were incredible. But what really surprised me was how popular my seat was. Maybe it wasn't such a bad spot after all. The line dance is over, but I feel like there's a lot more to learn about the training and dedication of the performers. Maybe someday I'll get to do a video about that. Now it's time to head back to the train station, and I think I'll take a few more photos on the way. And that's my trip to Foshan. Would you believe I walked the distance of a marathon for this video? If you know of another city you think I should walk through, let me know in the comments or send me a message.